Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, That Will Meep here, back with a brand new one-shot style what if. Of course, as the name would suggest, that is, what if Naruto Uzumaki was a demon lord? But no, not just any demon lord. The demon lord of demon lords himself. What if Naruto was the reincarnate vessel of Anos Voldigoad, from the renowned series that's currently on hiatus with Season 2, Misfit of Demon King Academy, following Anos Voldigoad, the demon lord who sacrificed his own life to create a barrier between the races, and of course following the mystery of Season 1, going into Season 2, the demon lord whose power was so supreme that he was able to reincarnate himself 1,000 years into the future to where no one remembers his true name, instead remembering the demon lord as a completely different entity. Anyway, enough of the preview, let's get right into the story, shall we? Just like the original Misfit Demon King Academy, Anos would reincarnate with his full consciousness inside of a young Naruto's body, waking up just in time and realizing consciousness where he is now awake, seeing a huge orange fox with its claw ripped through two people, one with red hair, a woman, and the other blonde. Neither of these people seem to possess any magical power. This would confuse him, obviously. He'd begin talking in his deep masculine voice, like he does in the original, scaring the shit out of both of them. With Minato dying first using the Reaper Death Seal to seal half of Kurama, and Kushina still clinging on to life, she would hand a baby Naruto over to Hiruzen, with him asking what his name is. With Kushina whispering her final words of breath, Naruto would interrupt her, his name being Anos Voldigoad, the demon lord. With Kushina being on the brink of death and Hiruzen just having this small infant child speak like a demon, which I guess he is, Anos would quickly use his magic power to heal Kushina, completely recovering and restoring her life just with a bit of magic power. Kushina could feel her wounds healing, surprised as she can feel her chakra beginning to revitalize itself, falling to the ground in tears as she runs over to Minato, holding her son and her husband in her arms. Anos would be uncomfortable at first, wondering what's going on, as he realizes that this body has had an entity sealed inside of it before he had fully regained consciousness, that being half of the demon spirit fox, Kurama. Anyway, Anos would quickly revive Minato, his father, in this timeline, using his reincarnation magic like he used with that guy who was killing with his heartbeat and bringing back from death in the anime, and would just bring Minato back, with him completely defeating the Reaper Death Seal, and the Reaper itself fearing him, being a minor level of power compared to what he's used to dealing with, as like gods of time and such. Even an infant version of Anos was able to completely desecrate the spirit. With Minato and Kushina now both being alive and the village being restored, this would have an immediate effect on the Uchihas not being blamed, with Minato stating a first-hand account of what he had seen prior to his son resurrecting him, explaining to the villagers that Madara Uchiha has to have been the one to attack the village, stating that the Nine Tails was under his control and that he had engaged in battle with him, merely moments before the entire village would have been completely destroyed by a Bijou bomb. Both Kushina and Minato would think that the nine-tailed fox had completely taken over their child, Minato demanding to know who he was, and why he had taken over his son's body. Anos had promised to explain, saying he himself doesn't know, thinking that something must have happened to him when his soul was traversing space-time, and him trying to reincarnate himself in Dilhade, the country that was meant to be sectioned off as the land of the demons, and where his future rule would once again come back to pass. However, he had found himself here in the Leaf Village, as Minato had told him. Within the next month, Anos would completely grow into his full size, his hair turning black slowly through that time, and him returning to his original appearance, with Anos completely regaining his sense of self, including all of his powers. Anos would quickly tame Kurama, entering into his own seal and using magic to unlatch Minato's seal, opening the gate far and wide, with Minato's chakra being wiped away, and of course it not being needed because Minato's alive now, so he could just reseal it anyway, and he could reincarnate him, and we could go in this in circles. But anyway, Anos would fight Kurama being barely a challenge if anything, simply using one pinky to lift up Kurama, spinning him around like a basketball, before throwing him against the wall and beating him senseless. The Nine Tails would have been domesticated, with Anos taking all of the Kurama's chakra for himself, deciding to take a chance and learn some of this new chakra jutsu stuff that Minato had told him about. Anyhow, Anos would quickly gather all the skills of ninja, mastering jutsu effortlessly, with his magic power not even being needed for him with his intense ability to learn and his demon lord powers. He would quickly be surpassing Minato in jutsu and skill, with Anos having mastered all of the jutsu within the Leaf Village in just 3 to 4 months. Many of the villagers, if not all of them, feared Anos with a terror equal to that of the nine-tailed fox, with everyone believing that he is the reincarnation of the Nine-Tails, with Nine-Tails' will and personality having been imprinted on the boy, forcing him to grow so rapidly, and his power to be so immense. With Naruto guarding the village, aka Anos, Minato and basically the rest of the shinobi wouldn't have anything to worry about, with any threats that happen during the next couple of years, there aren't any, having zero effect on him. Sasuke and the rest of the Konoha 11 growing up at the same rate as usual, with Anos already having been a built part of the village, with him being one of Minato's closest aides, and already made a higher level than an Anbu Black Ops, being the Hokage's personal guard. In fact, Anos and Kakashi would have a pretty interesting relationship, with the two of them being very close and spending a lot of time together, with Anos being somewhat of akin to a brother to Kakashi, and filling the void that Obito had left in Kakashi's heart. In fact, Anos, Kakashi, and Guy were quite a regular trio heading out of the village and going on missions together, with the two being incredibly impressed with his insane powers. Anos just being a living cheat code that makes any semblance of story, fun, or good writing meaningless. Unless, of course, you have something equally overpowered to fight him, which he then destroys. Anyway, Team 7 is made up from Kakashi, Sasuke, Sakura, and one random kid from the Konoha 11 group who never gets mentioned, because there's definitely more people in that age range than just those 12 people. Or let's say it's someone from Neji and Guy's year from his team, whatever. Basically, Land of Waves happens. Kakashi still would beat them. He would have to use his Sharingan, so be it. But Zabuza and Haku are dead, regardless of if Naruto's there. Gato gets killed. However, it could be by Kakashi or someone else's time instead of course, Zabuza, because there is no Naruto to talk no jutsu him, making him turn back and regret his sins and Haku's death, and etc., etc. Upon the return to the Leaf Village, Anos would be helping Minato with getting stations set up for this year's Trinity Exams held in the Leaf Village. That, of course, being taken place between the Leaf and the Sand, because, of course, no other villages are participating because Kishimoto hasn't written them yet. Anos is helping with taking care of everything in the Trinity Exams, keeping his watchful eye with his demon eyes over the Forest of Death, watching as a seemingly strange participant would try to attack a young Sasuke Uchiha and his team. Seeing as he's about to try and kill him, and of course he recognizes one of the legendary Sannin Orochimaru, who Minato had told him about alongside his master Jiraiya, Jiraiya having already met, of course, Anos many years ago. Anos would step in, clapping Orochimaru easily, flexing on him by basically tying him up into a knot, taking a dump, and then wiping his ass with Orochimaru like a big, long, snake-like piece of toilet paper. In fact, Team 7 would be so horrified watching Orochimaru get slaughtered that they would feel terrified from Anos' incredible aura and his huge chakra pool. Anyway, Naruto would basically take Orochimaru's limpless corpse, not even giving him the chance to escape with Anos being so busted, and take him directly to Minato, his father, reporting everything to the Hokage. Minato would take Orochimaru into custody, with him telling Jiraiya that one of the Sannin is here, Orochimaru being the one who had left the village, and Hiruzen, of course, being involved, wanting to check on Minato and what had happened in the Forest of Death. And just like that, the Konoha Crush plan has been completely crushed by Anos. Like my dreams. And your ball. Anyway, Konoha Crush is ruined. The sand gets destroyed. No matter any way you slice it. The month of training is meaningless. Sasuke's never catching up to Anos. Because the Uchiha never betrayed anyone. Sasuke isn't as edgy, of course, so it doesn't really matter. But Kisame has no reason to come into the Leaf Village, so the Akatsuki don't really appear in part 1 of Naruto. And of course, the Tsunade retrieval arc and Sasuke retrieval arcs never happen. More boringness, because there's no gods or anything here to even fight Anos yet. Anyway, things stay boring until the Pain arc, where Pain tries to attack Anos to get the Nine-Tails, with Minato defending the village, and Anos being still at the village, of course. basically taking on all 6 paths of pain alongside Hiruzen and Minato. Hiruzen being fully retired by this point and being even closer to being dead, just from old age. Anyway, Anos would clap the 6 paths of pain. Even with them doing any damage to him, it wouldn't even matter. Just using the sound of his heartbeat to crush the techno path to bits. The human path just being destroyed by his power, and him blasting the diva path and all of them into bits, and eradicating their existence. Until finding Konan and Nagato, talking things out and realizing what had happened to them during the war. Finally, some character things. Anos would recognize this cycle of hatred, being the very reason he had sacrificed himself to disconnect the borders between humanity and demons, and this being the reason that he had even come to this place to begin with, was to try and be free of that cycle. Anos would have no reason to kill Nagato. Using his magical time powery bullshit to reset everything, go back in time, and fix everything within the Leaf Village. Now Nagato and Konan joining forces with Anos. Anos' overwhelming power being far superior to that of the tailed beasts, with Anos akin to that of a god. From here, things stay boring because Danzo, it's not like he can do anything with Minato around, and finally the 4th Great Shinobi War starts. Yay. A 5 Summit is still held, with Killer B still being attacked by the Akatsuki, and Raikage A now bringing all the Kage together to discuss how they're going to deal with the terrorist organization known as the Akatsuki. Kakashi and Anos would be brought alongside Minato's aides, with Kushina staying back in the village and playing support for any reconstruction that they have to do, and mostly therapy since everything was fixed through time travel. Anyway, the moment Obito shows up, it's over. Obito gets fucked by Anos with him asking, "How? The Kamui is a dimensional jutsu." And then Anos says, "Oh, you really think that a dimension can stop me?" Just breaking through all of the barriers of dimensions that is in between the Kamui world and this one with his hand, and ripping Obito's head off, basically ending the Great 4th Shinobi War. Even if Kabuto reincarnates Madara or anyone else, from here it's just a wash. Ten Tails doesn't get revived. Nope, no way. Not even with them targeting just Minato's half. The 4th Great Shinobi War never happens because of Anos. Anos could get whatever hose he wants. So for those of you fanfictioners out there who love this power jerking and harem stuff, you can just imagine with whoever you want, because it ultimately doesn't matter, since even in the original Demon Misfit King, he literally has an army of charade singers who hype him up during fights. That's not even a joke. Anyway, Anos would then have pretty much no competition again until Momoshiki and the others arrive from the Otsutsuki clan, who he would then proceed to rip inside out and destroy without much of a thought. Anos is such a Chad, in fact, that he had even freed Kurama after learning about the tailed beast during the war, so he doesn't even have the 9 tails anymore, with him not needing it or anything. Minato still has his half because he couldn't survive having it pulled out of him. As such, there was no Sage of 6 Paths, and Sasuke is just a regular Leaf Police Force ninja. An interesting thing here is that Minato would eventually retire, and the position of Hokage being passed to Kakashi. Anos saying he always has plans to go back home anyway, and once he can find the right dimension, he'll be hopping it as soon as he can, basically taking care of the Otsutsuki threat while he's here. Momoshiki, Kinshiki, and everyone else just getting analed by Anos. It's not even close. They get destroyed, and Anos would be only waiting for Ishiki and Kaoru to show up. Now this is where the whole point of this video finally comes in. Anos versus Ishiki. It is a great fight. Ishiki shrinks and does everything in his power, dropping heavy cubes on Anos. Anos gets teleported to another dimension where he plans to leave him there, and then he creates his own dimensional portal coming back. Kawaki is protected by Kakashi, who is currently the Hokage after Minato's retirement, and Anos just toys with Ishiki, ripping his pride as an Otsutsuki apart, calling him an inferior creature before we see some of his dark hair and his horns. Anos going full Demon King mode, ripping him in half and just deleting him from existence. Amado being horrified at the power of this person, having only heard of the events that had taken place at the 5 Kage Summit because there was no 4th Great Shinobi War. And by the time that he gets back, the situation with Kawaki would have been resettled, with Nagato and Konan accepting to adopt Kawaki. Nagato and Konan are together, by the way, for shippers. That's the only ship I'm accepting in this. Yay! Anyway, Kawaki's adopted by Nagato, who tries to teach him ideals and take care of him with the Karma Seal and everything. And Anos quite easily goes back in time, doing the same thing he had done for Misha and the two girls, grabbing a Kawaki body from before he was implanted with the Karma Seal and deleting the Karma Seal effects from his body. Basically ridding the world of the Otsutsuki Karma Seal. And also freeing us from the nightmare that could have been Boruto. Yay! Anos is the hero we all needed. Except that for anyone who's actually still reading the manga, the Boruto manga has been getting pretty good recently. So I know it's a little meta, but I do recommend checking it out. And so, after he has taken the Karma Seal, looking through the knowledge, they'd eventually get to that filler arc where they discovered the turtle that can travel through time. This is how Anos gets home. Using the turtle's power of filler, Anos would leave the world behind, thanking Minato for everything, dipping and leaving the prom of Damon and Ida to Kawaki, who is now the main protagonist, and everyone else alive in the Elite Village. And that is the end for What If Naruto Was the Reincarnation of Anos Voldigoad. Anyway, for those of you who have been recommending me to make this What If, now you know why I had never done it until for this April Fool's thing. Because it's just so ridiculous the amount of Saitama One Punch Man stuff this guy can do. It's not even fair. It's just a bloodbath. It's not even entertaining. I don't know why you wanted this, but I'm here to deliver. This is like my second most requested What If for a while after, of course, the masterpiece of drip release Naruto, which I did a couple of years ago, maybe 1 or 2. I think I might have done it last year. Anyway, feel free to check that out in the top upper right hand corner, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.